"Who has taken my piece of glass?" asked the Duke, frowning. Grimid made a sign to denote that he had done so. "What, thou again? Why didst thou take it?" "Yes, why?" asked La Ramee. Grimid, who held the piece of glass in his hand, said sharp, "True, my lord," exclaimed La Ramee. "Ah, deuce take it, we have a precious fellow here." "Monsieur Grimid," said the Duke, "for your sake I beg of you, never come within the reach of my fist." "Hush, hush!" cried La Ramee. "Give me your gibbet." "My lord, I will shape it out for you with my knife." And he took the gibbet and shaped it out as neatly as possible. "That's it," said the Duke. "Now make me a little hole in the floor whilst I go and fetch the culprit." La Ramee knelt down and made a hole in the floor. Meanwhile the Duke hung the crawfish up by a thread. Then he placed the gibbet in the middle of the room, bursting with laughter. La Ramee laughed also, and the guards laughed in chorus. Grimid, however, did not even smile. He approached La Ramee, and showing him the crawfish hung up by the thread, "Cardinal," he said. "Hung by order of his Highness the Duc de Beaufort," cried the prisoner, laughing violently, "and by Master Jacques Chrysostom La Ramee, the king's commissioner." La Ramee uttered a cry of horror and rushed toward the gibbet, which he broke at once and threw the pieces out of the window. He was going to throw the crawfish out also, when Grimid snatched it from his hands. "Good to eat," he said, and put it in his pocket. This scene so enchanted the Duke that at the moment he forgave Grimid for his part in it, but on reflection he hated him more and more, being convinced he had some evil motive for his conduct. But the story of the crab made a great noise through the interior of the donjon and even outside. Monsieur de Chavigny, who at heart detested the cardinal, took pains to tell the story to 2 or 3 friends, who put it into immediate circulation. The prisoner happened to remark among the guards one man with a very good countenance, and he favoured this man the more as Grimid became the more and more odious to him. One morning he took this man on one side, and had succeeded in speaking to him. When Grimid entered, and seeing what was going on approached the Duke respectfully, but took the guard by the arm. "Go away," he said. The guard obeyed. "You are insupportable," cried the Duke. "I shall beat you." Grimid bowed. "I will break every bone in your body," cried the Duke. Grimid bowed, but stepped back. "Mr. Spy," cried the Duke, more and more enraged, "I will strangle you with my own hands." And he extended his hands toward Grimid, who merely thrust the guard out and shut the door behind him. At the same time he felt the Duke's arms on his shoulders like 2 iron claws, but instead either of calling out or defending himself, he placed his forefinger on his lips and said in a low tone, "Hush," smiling as he uttered the word. A gesture, a smile, and a word from Grimid, all at once, were so unusual that his Highness stopped short. Astounded, Grimid took advantage of that instant to draw from his vest a charming little note with an aristocratic seal, and presented it to the Duke without a word. The Duke, more and more bewildered, let Grimid loose and took the note. "From Madame de Montbazon," he cried. Grimid nodded assent. The Duke tore open the note, passed his hands over his eyes, for he was dazzled and confused, and read, "My dear Duke, you may entirely confide in the brave lad who will give you this note. He has consented to enter the service of your keeper, and to shut himself up at Vincennes with you, in order to prepare and assist your escape, which we are contriving. The moment of your deliverance is at hand. Have patience and courage, and remember that in spite of time and absence all your friends continue to cherish for you the sentiments they have so long professed and truly entertained. Yours wholly and most affectionately, Marie de Montbazon. P.S. I sign my full name, for I should be vain if I could suppose that after 5 years of absence you would remember my initials." The poor Duke became perfectly giddy. What for 5 years he had been wanting a faithful servant, a friend, A helping hand seemed to have fallen from heaven just when he expected it the least. "Oh, dearest Marie, she thinks of me." Then, after 5 years of separation, heavens, there is constancy. Then turning to Grimid, he said, "And thou, my brave fellow, thou consentest thus to aid me?" Grimid signified his assent. "And you have come here with that purpose?" Grimid repeated the sign. "And I was ready to strangle you," cried the Duke. Grimid smiled. "Wait, then," said the Duke, fumbling in his pocket. "Wait," he continued, renewing his fruitless search. "It shall not be said that such devotion to a grandson of Henry IV went without recompense.